Hi, and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am so pleased to have with me today Patrina Dixon. I have been back and forth with this young lady by phone, by text, everything. And I'm so excited to see her in person today. And so I would like to introduce her, Patrina Dixon. She's the owner and CEO of P. Dixon Consulting, LLC. And the book that I have of hers is called It's My Money, a guided journal to help you manage your finances. Welcome to my program. It's so wonderful to have you here today. I'm so excited not to just be talking to you by phone or whatever, but actually to see your face. And I'm excited about what you're doing. So can you tell me a little about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Teresa. I am so glad to be here. As you mentioned, my name is Patrina Dixon. I always like to start with I'm a mom, a wife, and a daughter because that is my why. Everybody wants to know the why. That is my why. I am the owner and CEO of P. Dixon Consulting, which is a financial consulting firm where I work with individuals and families to help them manage their finances. And then most notably, I'm an author of a book called It's My Money. And It's My Money Volume 1 is geared towards young people, ages 13 to 18, to help them better manage their finances.
I went through the one that you're just talking about, and I was like, where was this book when I needed it? I thought it was so well thought out, all of the sections and everything, and I would love for young people to get a hold of this book so that you can train them. You're even telling them about how to do what checks are and how to fill out checks. All the things that you put in there, I just think is wonderful. So I think it would be a great idea if you can somehow hook up with a lot of these young people. I wanted to ask you, what drove you to write this book and even start in the business that you're in?
Sure, thank you. And thank you for your compliments on the book. I really appreciate it. And I sit here myself saying, I wish I had this when I was younger. And that actually is why it was born. Like, I travel across the country for many different reasons. And I'm often asked about, my saving tactics, how I do this or how I'm, able to accomplish this for several things from a financial standpoint. So that's the reason why It's My Money was born. And, I thought through the channel of the book and specifically having the book be journal style, that was a tool that can help people better manage, give them small snippets of information that's easily, digestible, and then have them write out things that they felt they needed to do based on what they learned in the book by each chapter.
Okay. Now, what is the youngest age you think a parent should start a child teaching them how to save and all of that?
Oh my gosh. I think as young as they can begin to start, helping out in the kitchen. So bringing them to the grocery store, showing them what when you buy something, getting them acclimated to math, and then showing them, how you save when you purchase something from the grocery store. I think when you start to give them money for allowance or getting money for their birthdays, showing them to take a portion of that and put away for themselves and to save for something, in the future, and then have an immediate gratification buying something for them right away. So always looking at your money in components. I'm going to put some away and I'm going to use some of it right now, no matter how much that money is.
And making them realize when you go to the ATM that the bank is not just giving you.
I know you're probably like me when you have to say you have to have money in there in order to take some out, right?
So you can just go to the ATM to get that money out, right?
That's absolutely right.
Right. Yeah. Making them understand that that money that you're taking out is because you saved it, you put it in there. I think is really important because I think a lot of the smaller children don't understand, what it takes to get that money to buy different things unless you really explain it to them.
That's absolutely right. So I spend when I'm hired to do workshops and or talk to young people about my book, I go into that exactly what ATM actually means. So ATM is an acronym, and I tell them what that's for, and then how you're able to take money out. The convenience of being able to do that through the ATM is if you have money in there, and then tracking what you have in there even when you withdraw from an ATM perspective. Right. So absolutely, that's very important.
One of the things that I saw in the book was about spending. How are commercials and other propaganda used to persuade you to buy certain products?
So, young people today, their favorite athlete, their favorite movie star, their favorite singer, what they're wearing, what they, because if they have it on, it's cool, and they want to have those certain things. So commercials regarding what they have on, seeing them, displaying various different items. As a young person, you want to do the same thing. You want to assimilate to what you see for people that you idolize. So I think commercials contribute to the desire to spend for things like what's on TV. So I think that's how that spending comes into play.
One of the quotes that was in your book that I had to laugh, it's from Sophia Amorosa, I guess. Money looks better in the bank than on your feet.
Yes.
I cannot believe the amount of money that people spend on sneakers.
Yes.
For instance.
Yes.
And a kid may feel bad when they go to school because they don't have like the latest sneakers, but the prices on it. And I just wonder how much it even costs for the manufacturers to make them.
Yeah, if they're made here in the United States, absolutely.
Right. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that gets back to what you asked earlier about commercials, so because we all know and love Michael Jordan, but his sneaker is one of the most expensive sneaker that's out there. So when you see that, you got a double factor there where he's an athlete that has done extremely well. He has a sneaker, and young people want to have that sneaker on. And there's one that's coming out, I think, 2 or 3 times a year. So that's an example of, the commercials and the increase in spending or the desire to spend on something like that. So absolutely. Right.
There was another one on here too. The way to wealth is simple. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference wisely. So a lot of people, and it was another one here too, that people, wealthy people invest first and spend what's left. Broke people spend first and invest what's left. That is so true. People wait until they've spent all of their money on things that they don't need, and then what's left over they may try to invest. But you're saying that you should put money, find a way to invest money first, and before you spend it on frivolous things. My mother used to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that, and I love this quote too, that a bank is a place that will lend you money if you can prove that you don't need it. I never understood that one. So tell us a little more about spending and how parents should. You talked about the how people should teach their children when they take them to the grocery stores and stuff like that about spending. But tell me a little more about how you can teach these young people about spending habits.
Yes. This is what I hope happens from the book or any workshop that I do, is the conversation to start at home. I think oftentimes when parents don't manage their finances well, they're not as transparent with their children about how to do that, because they may either don't know how to do or have not had to use the strategies that I'm suggesting in the book for them to do so. So I always start with pay yourself first. Like, pay yourself first is my mantra. Like, before you pay anything else, even if that amount is $5, you want to make sure that you do that on a consistent basis and automate it if possible. And then as it pertains to I'm sorry, I missed the question. As it pertains to other ways in spending, is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know we're probably gonna get into budgeting. Is I suggest folks to pay themselves first, and to ensure that when you take care of everything, always leave and write down an amount of money that you're going to have for miscellaneous or spending or shopping, whatever you want to name that. For me, it was Starbucks. You always want to include it in there so you know how much you can spend on
Right,
something that you
right.
may want. Because when you do not include money for your wants or your needs, and the whole process and the management process becomes something that you dislike because you feel like all you're doing is giving somebody else your money and you're not able to do what you like to do. So I always say pay yourself first, ensure that you're taking care of your responsibilities, your needs for the month, and making sure that you align something to spending so that you feel that you worked all week or 2 weeks when you get paid, that you're doing something that you would like or something nice for yourself.
Right.
If
right,
it's
right.
a Starbucks,
Right.
if it's Dunkin' Donuts, it's whatever you like, or if it's a Minchie's ice cream, whatever it is, making sure that you're doing that and you allotted money for that, so you're not taking from something else in order to do that.
Because I find out if you were to take a week, I'd say, and write down everything that you spend money on, you would be really surprised at the stuff that you spend money on that you're not allotting for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
even thing like I had to start like writing down, okay, every other week I'm paying $30 for gas. I wasn't putting that down before, but when you, like your Starbucks and all that stuff, so when you start writing all of that stuff down, at least do it for a couple, I wouldn't say, I don't know if you have to do it all the time, but at least take a couple of weeks or a month or whatever and just write all of that stuff down. You'd be surprised at what you spend money on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, is becoming aware. Once folks are aware and really have a mind shift to want to pay themselves first and tell their money where to go, it becomes something that's, a game-like. So you want to each week see how much more you can save, or each week how much you have left over after taking care of what you want to do. So again, once I'm able to get clients over the hump of it may be daunting in the beginning because you hadn't done it in the past,
Right.
but once you do it, it becomes a bit more repetitious. You'll find that you have more money than you expected, because now you're allocating it by category, and then you're finding that you have more than what you expected when you were just frivolously spending or sliding your card or doing whichever. And
Right.
not really tracking what you were doing.
Right. And one thing I've found out from talking to some young people, we talk about financial planning, I guess, a little bit. Young people that don't take advantage when they're in companies of having them take money out of their for 401k.
Oh.
I cannot believe, they don't realize that when they get my age, how much they're going to be depending. And they take it right out of your pay, and in a lot of instances, they match it.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot believe a lot of young people that I talk to, you're not taking advantage of your 401k or whatever your company has for you, and a lot of them don't. I'll wait, they'll say.
Oh my gosh. So I have to insert a personal story here. So my daughter, who's now 27, works for a company.
27?
She's 27.
Oh my God, you look like a baby.
Why, thank you. So let me tell you, another why and how this came alive. So we're sitting at the dinner table. She's preparing or trying to go on vacation, and she has her compensation statement from her company that she works for, who has a 401k. And she's been with this company for 3 years. And we're sitting at the table, and she's like, "Mom, what is this 401k thing?" She had no idea. And me calling myself financially astute, my daughter just assumed she sort of picking up on these concepts that I've been sharing with others. She actually had been working for the company for 3 years at that point in time.
Wow.
And they automatically enrolled her into a 401k. She had no idea that she was enrolled, that they were matching, the percent of salary that they, which was 3 at the time, that they were matching that, and had automatically started taking that out of her paycheck. So that said to me, one, she does not look at her pay stub, because she had no idea that 3% of her salary was going into this, and it was being matched. That 3% being
Right.
fully matched, until she needed to find money to go somewhere, and she looked and saw this big sum of money. She was like, Mom, how do I get that? Like, I need that because I want to go to California. How do I get it? And I'm like, sweetie, let's sit. we're already sitting, so I'm like, okay, let's, after we're done, let's really talk about this. And we went into detail. But you're absolutely right. They started at companies, and fortunately for her, this company automatically enrolled her. But in every opportunity that I get, I try to share these things with with young people, because they don't know.
Right.
They think, okay, I'm 27, I'm retiring. I'm not thinking about retiring, and before you know it, it's retirement time. So yes, this is a time when they need to, and like her, using that as a prime example, she had no idea what's happening. So I'm like, if you've been doing it for 3 years, why would you want to change that when it hasn't stopped you from being able what you wanted to do going forward? So that definitely allowed us to have a conversation that we, even as mom and daughter, had not had that in the past. And that's what I'm, again, hoping through this interviews, through my book and other things that I do, that conversations happen at home so kids aren't wondering. So we're able to help answer questions for them, to hopefully have them make decisions that help them be more financially independent.
And I think a lot of parents probably don't know themselves. So I think that's where you would probably come in to help, because a lot of parents don't know. And if I would have known, like I said, what if I had a book like that, like you had back in the day when I was younger, I'd probably be in much better shape now that I want to retire, because this is when it really hits home, when you realize that you're about to retire. Are you going to have enough to, you may say, oh, my house is paid for, but then you don't think about the fact, okay, you still got to pay taxes. You still got to live, so you have to have enough money. And I've seen so many older people. I met one guy that was working at the bank, and he told me he had retired, but came back and started working again because he was not financially able to quit, because he had to pay for insurance and all that. So a lot of young people are not thinking about the future, but I'm telling you, it goes by so quickly. Sometimes I pass by the mirror and say, oh my God, that's me. I'm 62, but it goes by so fast. And when you're young, you just don't think it's going to happen. So I'm just looking forward to you, like, really educating the children, educating their parents, so that they won't be in the fix that a lot of older people are finding themselves in now, that have to think about getting part-time jobs and all that, because they're not taking advantage of all this free money. The free money that's out there.
That's absolutely right. And you're right. And like, everything that you said is exactly right. Why it's so important for, anytime there's opportunities to share with young people what they can do now, so that when they get to the 62 or whatever age, when they would like to retire, what that would mean, how much money they would have to be able to do that, to live like they feel they need to live, or to maintain what they're doing today, what that will take. I can't impress upon them enough about the importance of thinking about their finances in a way like they've never done before, because it's critically important. And, I'm one of many different people out here that's trying to, help influence that in a way that it's done where it's a class, where it's required in schools, where there's, where it's, during the summer, where there's opportunities, where they're in camp, maybe infuse it in that scenario. So, yes, so I like that you're sharing it. I like, that the more people do, I think that when they become aware, I think there's change happens, and that's what we're trying to do right now by, encouraging, the read of the book, encouraging going to workshops, encouraging, whatever avenue that they feel is best for them. So I try to share with them. There's apps out there that can help. So I shared the various apps that may be a better tool for them when it comes to managing their money. And that's fine if that's what they want to use, as long as it's being done, as long as there's a consistent review of whatever money they have in the bank, and that they're making conscious decisions before spending.
Now, one thing you said in your book, that it's never too late. So for a person like me that's 62, I know our director Dee, she's still a baby, but for somebody like me, is it too late to try to get your finances together?
Here's what I will say to you. It's never too late for anything, right? It's that, I wouldn't be sitting here today because some have said to me before, young people are not going to relate to you about stories about money. You're too old. So I think as soon as if you start making different decisions or better decisions based on the information that you're learning, that you can always make a difference and and do things to try to to have financial independence. Now, is it the same as the next person? No. So each individual scenario would have to be reviewed and then discussed to determine what ways you can, what ways that you would need to take in order to be on the financial path that you want to be on. But I say it's never too late. That's what I say. So would your story be the same as Dee's? Probably not. Would your path be the same? Probably not. But to not have a path at any age, I think is to have a path than to not, I think is ideal.
So Patrina, can you tell us where you are located, and could you give us some information about your hours, when people can come in and visit your office, or what other kind of activities you do outside of the office?
Sure, absolutely. So my office is located at 301 Bloomfield Avenue in Windsor, Connecticut on the 3rd floor. And my website is www.itsmymoneyjournal.info.
Thank you so much for coming today. And one thing that you told me, that it's never too late. So that's right down my alley. Being 62 years old, thank you so much for coming and just being a part of my show and really giving out good information, not only to the young people, but to people my age too. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching Diversity in the Community. And I'm looking forward to you watching this information with Patrina Dixon. And she has a lot of good information for you. So please watch our YouTube video, watch our show on Monday night, and get all of this good information. Again, thank you for watching, and good night.